Hi, my name is Lily, and I've created a charity called Seren, which connects mental health survivors with young sufferers. I firstly want to tell you a story. Even among our small team, we have someone whose friend who was just 16 when she committed suicide. Her family noticed she was having a problem at school and that there was a change in her moods. However, no one was aware of the severity of the situation. She was finally diagnosed with depression and put on a waiting list for treatment. But sadly, it was too late, and 2 weeks later, she committed suicide. There is an incredibly large number of young people in Norwich who are suffering in similar situations, and we need to reach out to them before they reach their breaking point. Our charity, Seren, connects these young people with people that do understand and will listen because they have been through it themselves. Seren is a website which matches survivors with sufferers before they reach their crisis point to produce them with a safe space to meet and talk without any judgment. Our research shows that 90% of 18 to 25-year-olds personally know someone who has suffered with mental health conditions. Judges, audience, I'm sure you also personally know someone who is suffering from a mental health condition. In addition, there's 85%, our research has showed that 85% of people think that the charity will help those who have a mental health condition. This leads, Our 85% of those surveyed believe that our service would improve young people's mental health. As for many, talking about anxiety is difficult. There are hidden feelings because the people feel that those close to them don't understand and aren't listening. This can ruin or even cost people their lives. As you can see, with Seren, our users can easily search for events and drop-ins online to find a place to connect and chat discreetly and safely with volunteer listeners. As well as our own website, this search platform will be available for other charities to embed into their websites so that their users are aware of what is happening in their local area. In terms of reaching these young people, we want to work closely with universities, colleges and sixth forms, particularly their wellbeing teams. We have also both spoken to both the UEA in Newark, who are enthusiastic about our idea, and that they have invited us to speak to them further as soon as possible. We wouldn't be able to do this without the venues and their safe spaces. We have already attracted the attention of 9 venues in Norwich, including gyms and cafes. There will be drop-ins, free exercise classes, and even the odd board game evening. When people arrive at the venue, they can simply tell the staff, "I'm here to see Seren," avoiding the anxiety of having to discuss why they're here and who they have come to see. Volunteers are key to our project. We have spoken to Norwich, who have an oversubscribed pool of volunteers, which they will actively encourage to get involved with us. Also, the UDP are keen to do all they can to raise awareness of Seren and to help find volunteers. Volunteers will receive mental health awareness and safeguarding training, as well as being DBS checked. We have also already had our first volunteer sign up. His name is Stephen Rickett, and he has a quick message for you.
Why did I have to reach rock bottom before anyone recognised my illness? Why am I on a 6-month waiting list to speak to somebody? Why did I have to spend years feeling lost and broken? We need to be proactive and not reactive with mental health. Maybe if I'd access to Seren, I wouldn't have had a mental breakdown. Maybe my good friend wouldn't have hung himself. It's time we make a change and give these people their lives back. I'm committed to being a volunteer to do whatever I can to help people recover.
Now, judges, would you like to hear about the numbers? You can read the details behind me, but what you need to know is that we can achieve Seren's goals with around £50,000 to £70,000 a year. As we will be a charity, these costs will be covered through a number of grants. We have also already secured 2% of our costs with £1,000 from Greater Anglia, and they have offered further funding as we continue to grow. The National Lottering funding criteria directly aligns with my vision for Seren, and I know we will secure funding from them as well as others. So to the future, we have lots of ambition, as you can see, and we can plan to develop the platform in many ways. So, why Team Seren? Because none of us are willing to wait for another young person to fall in irretrievable despair. Thank you. Oh, questions, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you so much. It's a really innovative response to a really important question, and you've done great work there. Our question is around, you mentioned about DBS checking.
Yeah.
And there's an element of keeping vulnerable people on both sides of the equation, because the survivors that you're linking to are also vulnerable people. So how would you approach that a little bit more?
Okay, so with our costs, what we've got into that 57,000 is a volunteer coordinator, and that volunteer coordinator will be there to help support the volunteers, so that, you know, if they start to feel vulnerable and because of the situation, that they then have that volunteer coordinator to speak to. And we will obviously train that volunteer coordinator up, and that was all taken into account when we did our costings.